So thank you very much. Congratulations to the other presenters. And it's quite refreshing to see so many persons interested in Steelpan care and maintenance. That's a good sign. So I have a little presentation prepared. Let me just see if I can get it up. And give me 1 second. All right. Okay. So Steelpan care and maintenance. A lot of persons here, if not most persons, either own a steel pan or is probably part of a band, or maybe you borrow a steel pan from somebody. An integral part in respecting the steel pan is care and maintenance. So that is what this presentation is about. So it will touch on some stuff that some of you may already know. It may also touch on some stuff that some of you may have never considered before. And at the end of it all of us would benefit going out with something that we would have learned. So the importance of steel pan care and maintenance. Point 1. The steel pan is our national instrument, and as such, deserves the due respect. We're not saying that we worship the instrument, but just like any other instrument, just like a piano, good quality, we'd want to take care of it. So that would show to some extent the level of our interest in the instrument also. It extends the life of the instrument. I mean, that is self-explanatory. If you have something, you take care of it, it's going to last longer. And especially in the case of the steel pan, most steel pans are chrome finished. Some persons have theirs powder coated or painted. But either way, what could happen is that you could have little breaks, cracks in the coating. And after a while, rust could set in. And rust in its advanced stages could really do some damage. So taking care of your instrument certainly extends the life of it. Third, long run cost factor. Steel pans are expensive. And rightly so, there's a lot of work that goes into making a steel pan, into tuning a steel pan, and even in performing. So if you have your steel pan and you take care of it, it's going to last you longer. It's going to put off how much times you go to the tuner and even how many pans you buy in your lifetime. And finally, one of the other benefits of taking care of your steel pan is that as humans, we tend to associate appearance with quality. So for example, I just want to engage the audience a little bit. Take a listen to this sound. I hope you can hear it. And while you listen, I'm going to show you 2 pictures after. And I want you to guess which picture the song came from. The first image that comes to your mind, just say. So listen to the clip. Sounds well tuned. So which one of these images would you say that audio came from? Well, likely most of us here would automatically associate that good sound to the better looking image. That's just how we are, most of us. All right, so having your pan in a well-maintained state says a lot also about you as a person, as a performer. So those are some of the benefits. Now, there's another reason why you should maintain your pan. And some of the tuners in Trinidad are getting together to create a pan jail. And that is for persons who bring their pans to tuners and their pans are in a horrible state. So if you don't want to end up in the pan jail, take care of your pan, right? All right, so care and maintenance tips. Simple, practical, nothing over your head, stuff that you could do for yourself. I think part of my screen is missing. Let me just. Right. So avoiding rust. Rust, also known as iron oxide, forms when iron reacts with oxygen from the air. This is one of the greatest threats to a chrome finish. Minute breaks or cracks in the chrome surface allows oxygen in the air to react with iron in the steel of your pan. So most of you, as was mentioned before, your pans are either chrome plated, powder coated, or painted. Very few people would have raw pans in its natural state. So most of us would generally think that chrome-plated pans are fully sealed, no pores, no cracks in them. That is not entirely true. What could happen over time is that if you are playing your pan often, you will have sediments in your pan. Sometimes persons eat close to their pan, so some crumbs from what you're eating may fall on your pan. And what happens is that bacteria act on these things and could sometimes produce weak acids that could erode away at your chrome. So sometimes you may have recognized this with pans in the pan yard or maybe a personal pan. It's just there. Maybe some sediments or something is in the pan. And after a while, as you try to dust it off, you recognize that there's a little spot. That is rust setting in. So these little cracks in your chrome causes oxygen from the atmosphere to combine with the iron in your steel, and you get rust. Moisture doesn't generally cause rusting, it expedites rusting. So what you would want to do is to try to create a protective film as a barrier between your chrome and the oxygen. Here are some other factors that can expedite rusting. This may seem a bit unfamiliar to most, but proximity to the ocean is a factor. It's something that I have certainly been looking at in studying how to combat rusting in pans. What we have found is that bands that are closer to the ocean, especially maybe some of the bands in Tobago might be able to testify to this, that are closer to the ocean or in a saline environment, rusting tends to set in quicker than if you were far removed from the ocean. And that would bring us to the second point. Where you store your instrument is also important. And this comes in where some persons I know in other countries, they may share practice space with commercial businesses or something. So take, for example, a case that most people might be able to identify with is the chrome shop. In most chrome shops, there's something called an acid bath where you dip your pan before plating it to remove rust. Incidentally, that acidic environment, if the pan is left there after the rust is removed, the acid, as easily as it removed the rust, could also cause the pan to rust. So any environment, saline, acidic, basic environment, as the other slide would show, you'd want to be very careful about that. Another way to avoid, so to avoid rust, you'd want to stay away from these kind of environments if it is possible. Maintain a timely and a good routine in cleaning your pan. And I cannot overstress this. It's an instrument. Please clean your pan, the plain surface, the skirt, even under the pan. How does an instrument like the one on the left degenerate into an instrument like the one on the right? You might think at first glance that this person treated this pan really badly. But the truth is that this pan was just neglected. It was just left there. So what happens is you have a pan that's chrome plated, looks good. And you will notice sometimes if you have sediments in your pan and you're not cleaning it every day, you'd notice these little spots. So it starts like this, and then it goes to the image on the right over time. So how do you prevent rust from setting in? First step, try to get a good chrome job. You might be very disciplined and consistent in cleaning your plane surface, but if the chrome job to begin with was not done properly, you could clean all you want, you could wipe all you want, rust will set in eventually. I've seen that. So start by getting a good chrome job. These are just two images of different chrome shops, both from Trinidad. The one on the left is from Chrome Furnishers. We know them as Mustafa. Most persons will know them as that. The one on the right, what if I told you that this is actually Trin-City Chrome? Most persons who are familiar may not believe that. But the one on the right is actually a Trin-City Chrome. It's just how the pan was prepared before and after, right? But I would generally consider these chromes as being good chrome jobs. This pan was chromed in the US. This is also a very good chrome job. In fact, this was exceptional. So that's the first step, starting with a good chrome. Second step, I did a short video to show you. Very simple. So believe it or not, this is actually a Trin-City chrome pan, right? So what are some of the products that could be used for polishing chrome? Now, these are some that most persons would be familiar with in the pan world. You have normal chrome polish modders, you have the turtle wax, 3D, and to the left, you have glass cleaner. Nothing is wrong with these products. There's just a word of caution though. If you overuse it, if you polish your pan every day with these products, over a period of time, your chrome will fade. And that's because of some of the ingredients that is used in these products. It will fade your chrome over time. So I'm not saying don't use it. I'm just saying you don't need to polish your pans every day. I would recommend maybe if you polish your pans once every week, if you could, or every 2 weeks. And at the end of each day where the pan is used, if you go back to the video and follow that, just get a microfiber cloth, and that took about perhaps less than a minute. If every time you're finished with your pan for the day, you perform that simply what was demonstrated in the video, and you polish your pan once every 2 weeks, I can guarantee, and you have a good chrome job, your chrome and your pan is going to last you a very long time. So polish at least once in 2 weeks. Wipe your pan after each day of use, preferably a microfiber cloth, so that you won't scratch your chrome. Another thing that is recommended is to use some type of covering. So for perhaps those in band settings, maybe what you could do is rack your pans when you're finished with it and just cover the rack, especially if you're close to the ocean. or in a saline or acidic environment, that would protect your chrome. Or there's something that I was working on 2020, which is a wrap for your skirt. It was purely aesthetic to begin with, but in trying it out, I recognize that it actually protects the pan, right? So you have ones that actually look like chrome also. So if you don't want to take away the chrome finish from your pan, you could do this also. Invest in a case if you don't have one. And if you have one, use it for the periods of time that you're not using your pan. Of course, if you have somebody who uses your pan regularly, you may not want to take it out and put it in the case after each use, but you'd certainly benefit from wiping it, polishing it every 2 weeks. This is a good friend of mine, very good friend, Earl Rodney. This is his pan, and he has had this pan for decades. It's not plated, it's not chrome, it's not painted. He simply maintained this pan with clear shoe polish for decades. What's the point? When you take care of things, they last. Take care, finally, I'm closing up, of your pan sound. So it's not just about how the pan looks. Take care of your pan sound. So a couple of things, briefly. Never rest your pan on the belly, please, people. I mean, everybody here in pan, nobody needs to tell you this, but just in case, don't do it. Try to avoid putting objects on the plain surface of your pan, your phone. Don't do it. Try to prevent your pan from falling if possible. If possible, avoid stuffing your pan case with clothes. So those who travel and want to fill your pan case with clothes, don't do it. Try to use a fragile sticker if that helps. Play your pan often, but don't beat it. Playing your pan often actually keeps it in tune. And this one, please do not try to tune your pan if you're not a tuner. Please. You make more work for the tuner, right? So the one on the left, no. The one on the right, the correct way. Final tip, visit your tuner every now and then. Respect those men and women, they work hard. Thanks for coming.